a really hard position to rank because defense matters so much as a catcher. But I think these are the best 10 of all time. 10, I think it's very close between Yadier Molina and Buster Posey. If you like defense more, then maybe Yadier Molina, but undoubtedly Buster Posey was a much better hitter. And he won the MVP, and he had a similar career WAR in way less games. At 9, Joe Mauer had a 323 lifetime batting average through his age 30 season. So for 10 years, he was a 406 on-base percentage catcher who won an MVP award and played excellent defense. As far as I'm concerned, his Hall of Fame case right there was a lock. At 8, Roy Campanella won 3 MVPs. And his 125 career OPS plus was even higher than Mauer's. He should maybe be higher than this, but I'll be honest with you, defensive stats back then are really hard to know for catchers. I just know for sure he's a top 10 catcher ever. At 7, Carlton Fisk had a 68 career WAR as a catcher with 376 home runs. He basically gave you 20 home runs every year as a catcher. He did it 8 times. Also crazy longevity for a catcher. He played 24 years. At 6, I've debated so many times moving up Mike Piazza because offensively, there's only one catcher even in discussion with him. He had a 143 career OPS plus. However, defense is super important for the position, which is why I only have him ranked at 6th. But I could definitely be talked into moving him up a bit. 5, Gary Carter. He's got that 70 WAR. Very good defensively with over 300 career home runs. He didn't play in a super high offensive era, so when you look at his OPS plus stats, it really gives you an idea of just how good he was, like 138, 113, 123, 126, 112, 146, another 143 and 138 here, while also putting up these ridiculous defensive WARs like a 4 one year. One of the most well-rounded and underrated, I think. Yogi Berra was on 10 World Series winning teams. Also had a stretch of 10 straight seasons with 20 plus home runs, and had 7 consecutive top 4 MVP finishes. Well, I'll be the first to tell you that MVP voting was extremely flawed back then. It gives you an idea of just how valuable teams thought he was. I have him at 4. At 3, one of the greatest defensive catchers of all time, if not the greatest. I think Yadier Molina is probably 1, but maybe Pudge is 2. But Pudge also got close to 3,000 hits and had over 300 career home runs. And he was also a really solid hitter. Look at these OPS pluses: 120, 125, 156, 126, 128, 120, 137. At 2, if you want to put this guy at 1, I definitely get it. Originally, I had him at 1 also. The highest career WAR among all catchers was 75. One of the great all-time defensive catchers. 2-time MVP winner. 2-time World Series champion. For good reason, he's like the catcher that every catcher is compared to. Because he was the most well-rounded to ever play the game, and while he played, he might have been the best player in MLB at his peak. But while I do care so much about defense, Josh Gibson's stats are insane. Basically Babe Ruth, but as a catcher.